Hello, everybody, and welcome back again to a very special and different episode of the Tussa City podcast. You already know. You see the boy over there getting the Birdman hand rub. That's the difference right now. You seeing us not in the flesh, you seeing us in the virtual flesh right now as we bring you episode 21, aka the Tim Duncan episode.
Timmy D
of the hottest podcast on the block. I'm Fax Mercury, one half of this podcast, joined by the legendary. Look at the camera quality on his side. This is crazy.
Yo, man, you got to put these cameras to work, man. You know what I'm saying? This is, obviously one of those dual investments. You have the camera, you use it outside, shoot some fly ass pictures, but you use it inside, dope ass stream setup. Feel me?
Yeah. Nah, because that stream setup go hard.
Yeah, honestly, I fuck with it. I love my setup so much. Honestly, it's, honestly, yeah, it really has been a really great investment. Like when I even look at this, like the fact that we can do this and, it's really production, like the production level is incredible. Even at the fact that we're not even physically together, the fact that we're able to string this together and it still looks this damn good. Some of the kings, the podcast kings. Who else but us?
Podcast.
Who else but us?
Who
else but us? Like,
we are not a businessman. We are a business
man. Oh man.
All right, so let's jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
How was your week? How was your week?
My week, same old, brother. Same old. It was very, very quiet this week. I don't know about you. I don't think anything of crazy interest happened this week. I mean, I definitely had one of my I guess I would say my previews. I don't know, is it previews person? I don't know if I'm using too many fucking dictionary words here, but my teenage days. Yeah, my teenage days playing a lot of video games, chilling in the crib. Staying inside because it was very hot outside, and there was a lot of crazy weather. I don't know if obviously on your side in Brooklyn, I know we're not that many miles apart, but it was.
I mean,
crazy.
It was wilding.
Yeah, it was wild
outside. Mass storms in the middle of the night. I hate that shit. Storms it pisses me off, and it scares the shit out of me. Waking up in the middle of the night to some loud ass thunder. I'm like, did we anger the gods or something? Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, no.
And I gotta get like blackout curtains because. Honestly, like I'm on the second floor, but behind me are all houses. So like I see a lot of the sky. So at night, like lightning hits, that shit just, the whole room goes bright. And that shit, it's the worst. Like the curtains do a decent enough job, but not in like the middle of a storm.
Yeah.
And like the storm in like this last week was kind of crazy.
Yeah, no.
It was like 2-3 of them, honestly.
3 of them. It was like tropical storm level thunderstorms, just real crazy shit. So I mean, it was really just like a stay inside type week. I am tight actually, bro. I fucking hit a crazy ass pothole, I think in Brooklyn, actually going to work last week. So that shit maxed one of my tires. I didn't catch a flat, but it tore like a hole in my sidewall. So like the way it looks right now, it's like a piece of my tire is just, you can open it. It's so weird, and you can see like, it's right there. Like at any minute, if I hit another pothole or something like that, it can give out. So my ass is just getting ready to get that done. I got my service coming up. That's it, man. I mean, it's a chill week. I mean, even this weekend, what did I do? I kicked back at up the street with the family. Family dinner type vibes. That's it, man. It's really been a slow week, man. I don't know about you. What was your week, bro?
I was about to say I do agree because like. I mean, it was shit. You said the preview best and shit. Like that's all I do anyway. It's just play games, looking for jobs, do mix this album and shit like that. Yeah, actually, like it was slow in the sense that like not too much went down, and actually, I think we stayed inside more days than not because it was raining. Usually we'll go for a walk, but it was always raining at like 12 or 1 o'clock, and it was just like, all right, we're just gonna stay inside or something. I like finished. I didn't finish the album. I finished. Like the creative process. Now I'm just doing like the mixing and mastering this week. So I started that on Monday. I mean, not Monday. Yeah. I started that today. This is Monday. When y'all hear this, it'll be Tuesday. Saturday, we walked to Marine Park. That was a pretty nice walk. We were going to walk there. We went there because it had this trail, like a nature trail, but we walked to like, I kid you not, like 3 minutes. And, we stopped, took some pictures, and then we kept walking. I just looked down at the sign and it says like caution, like ticks. So Ruthie as a kid had like a bad experience with ticks. He's like, nah, fuck that, we out of here. So I was like, okay, but it was a nice walk, but we were hoping to do that. But also like it just, like the parks haven't really been managed too much since this whole thing. So now people are starting to get back to like doing some of the jobs, but like walking, it felt like, oh nah, like I'm really in some wilderness. It looked like nobody was really trimming the hedges or making sure. It just looked like the wilderness was overtaking the trail. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to walk. Nobody else is walking this. Like I don't know, some shit about to pop out.
Pop
like,
out, yeah. She was
I
trying
don't,
to like fucking eat you
yeah,
or something crazy like that. Yeah, you don't want no problems with something
yeah.
crazy like that.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, I want zero problems with nature. I'm the first one to be like, y'all respect nature because nature got some shit out here. So
Mhm.
but the walk was nice. We did that early. We got back at like 12 something. So that was probably like the biggest thing that I did this whole week. And like we were looking forward to it. So
Mm.
but other than that, yeah, slow week, just doing that and then, doing this today. So
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, and that's yeah, I think that's just kind of been the overall I guess mood for the whole week. Cause I mean shit, even content wise, I feel like not much happened this week. I mean, obviously, the NBA's back. That's been the fucking highlight of my
yes,
week. I
sir.
don't know
Yeah.
about you.
Like back.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
yeah.
back
Like
back, tons of content, tons of fucking different games. I mean, like starting, I mean, even when you look at this, like the Clippers versus the Lakers, I don't know if you watched that game. Did you watch that?
I went and watched the highlights, but
Mhm.
I'm genuinely surprised that the product is still this good. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought like professional NBA players not playing after a few months would suddenly suck, but I thought like the weirdness of it would like I guess get to people on the floor.
Mhm.
But nah, I mean, it looks great.
Yeah.
Like it's basketball. It's still high level basketball.
Yeah.
Outside of like the scrimmage games, but once like the actual game started to be played, you saw people really wilding out.
Mhm.
Like people were, we were talking about the Lakers and Wizards thing, but then, Lakers play Clippers and all of a sudden Braun is pulling out 2013 style defense and shit. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? Like, this is the first game back
First game
and he's
back,
already
and
wilding.
he's locking
And but
up.
we
Yeah.
mentioned that we thought that time away would help them. To me, it looks like they clearly got extra rest, so it looks like they're about to ball out for this little stretch of games.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely loving it. Just like you said, and just specifically commenting on like the presentation. I actually think they've actually improved on certain aspects of how they choosing to like present the game to us. And I mean, I'm not even specifically talking about like the camera angles, but just like, just like certain aspects of it. Like when you even look at like the advertisements, I don't really care for that stuff, but like they have it digitally embedded on the courts. They're gonna find ways, I'm pretty sure, to keep that stuff going. And I mean, the
Yeah.
virtual fan, the wall of fans. I think that stuff is mad cool. Obviously, with the tons of monitors and
It looks so funny
yeah, like it's
because like mad people look so disinterested. They're just like,
yeah. Some people are just chilling there, and then
it's
some
like
people they be chill. Like, and I actually like it. I mean, I really do like
it's
just
cool.
overall like how they've been able to create the NBA product, keep that going. And I mean, obviously, it's been able to bring back all of my favorite shows. Because all I do is watch sports shows. I know I said that on the
Yeah.
podcast before, but literally, like, shit, NBA on TNT is back. I've been able to watch
Oh
Shaq,
yeah.
Chuck, Kenny, Charles, all them dudes. Like,
And they still doing the thing,
yeah,
like
they still doing it. Yeah, like, so I'm happy. Honestly, I'm super happy. And just like you said, I mean, the Clippers Lakers game starting with that. I mean, that shit was crazy. Like fucking Kawhi,
yeah.
Paul George, they both went off. And I mean, you got LeBron, AD, they got themselves going off. And I mean, it's like, now when you look at it, I don't even know, man. Between those teams, like, I actually don't know who really has the edge now. Because obviously, the
Yeah.
series is tied up, heading into the postseason. I don't know who's really gonna have that edge where it's like shit, LeBron really got it this year. I don't know. I feel like in their matchups though, it
Yeah.
always does look like LeBron lost the step. Like until like that
I
last
mean,
possession.
he has,
Yeah.
yeah, until like, and I wonder if like it'll be that way, and then he's just gonna exert himself, for like the more important stretches of the game. Where but we all know like Braun is the first guy to conserve the energy, wait till the right moments, and try to make the big plays. Then I was gonna say that between both of their duos, I think they share a similarity. You have between Braun and Kawhi, you have like the veterans that have gone to the finals, and you got PG and AD. Those are like the newer guys. Not that their skill is downplayed, but they do not have that experience in those deeper seedings.
Mhm.
Because we saw Paul George, he was going off that game, and then fourth quarter shows up. The Braun locks him up and stuff like that. Like it's like in the way that like and at this point, like Paul George has that like poor reputation, like he doesn't really show up in certain moments, and
Yeah.
like AD, we don't
Playoff
have that
P.
about
That's what they
AD,
call him.
right. But with AD, we don't even have that because he's never really
Yeah,
been.
even
He's
the
never been to the playoffs.
first round swept. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. So he's 8 seed. They got swept by the Warriors on that crazy year. So we have two guys that are more unproven in the deeper seeding. So I think what will break it down in the playoffs is who's actually going to step up. Because it's, Bron and Kawhi are going to, I think it'll be, that battle of Titans where one game Kawhi's going to go off for like 45. Next game, Bron's going to drop 50 or some shit. And they're always going to either be just, going off on each other. And then the other two, I think it's going to matter between them, which the second guy is going to really step up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's definitely on the money. I mean, and it definitely makes for great basketball. I'll definitely love seeing that.
Yeah.
And I mean, it woke up the Titan and the Clippers because since then, I feel like they've been on a tear. I don't know if they played. Actually, let me pull up their
they played
schedule
the
recently.
Pelicans.
I know they played the Pelicans. Did they play the Kings too after that? Those two games right after?
Today.
Let me double check.
Nah.
Because I know they beat the hell out of the Pelicans and then they played the Clippers. Okay. So they didn't play. So they only played 2 games. All right. So, but shit,
only 2 games,
bro. Whatever they did to wake up, whoever they like woke up within themselves to play the Pelicans. I mean, at one point it was a 40-point blowout. So, I mean, LeBron better step it up for sure. Like, definitely, he gotta like wake it up, and it can't be. I think they said he's averaging like 13 points a game or something like that versus them this season or something like that. I was like, yo,
yeah.
I
mean, clearly they're gonna key in on him, and it kind of is. It's a bad matchup for him.
Yeah, they have a lead.
Yeah, you
defenders.
got 2 wings.
Yeah.
There's no switching off and hoping. There's no weak point. It's either them two are just gonna be on your ass the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be stressful for at least him.
Yeah.
So it's really gonna come down to AD and Mantra has Montrezl played?
Oh no, Montrezl Harrell. I think he's still on quarantine. Him and Lou Williams. They're on quarantine because they had to leave the bubble. So I mean, when they come back, though, I mean that's going to be the difference maker right there. Yeah. So I think honestly, if anything, the Lakers they're definitely the underdog rolling into that matchup. But I mean, let's see. I guess transitioning over for those guys because those are the Titans, obviously in the West. I don't know if you got to see it, but TJ Warren, bro, he had a 50-point explosion versus Philly. Excuse me?
I'm telling you.
Yo,
there's like a 50-point game every season from the most random person.
I mean, I think TJ Warren would likely do that, though, because, I mean, if anybody knows TJ Warren coming out of college, like, I didn't watch him in college. I knew his draft stock was, bro, TJ Warren is an unstoppable scorer I think it was probably like the University of like, I don't know. It was somewhere down south. If it wasn't Oklahoma, it was like Texas or some shit. I don't even know. It was something bullshit.
Was he another UT guy?
Nah, probably not. But he fucking went off for like a 50-point explosion. I mean, I know
he went to North Carolina State.
Oh, North Carolina State. Damn, I was way off. Oh shit. Yeah. But yeah, boy is a scorer. Like he's a gifted scorer. Went to the Suns. He was a scorer even his rookie season. And I mean, when they traded him, I know they're regretting it right now because even tonight, like, bro, today he scored like 30 something, or like I think he almost had 40 against the Heat. So it's just kind of like, man, like this dude is really on a tear right now. He's making people pay, and I love to see it. I mean, specifically versus Philly, though. I mean, that was just crazy. What has happened to Philly? Like as a Titan, like as a team I knew was supposed to be the future. Everybody used to talk so crazy about Philly. What happened?
I know. I thought when they made that, or when they picked up Al Horford last year, right? Or going into this season?
I think they had they had him last year too. They had him.
Oh, so they picked up Tobias Harris.
Exactly.
That's what it was.
No, they had Tobias and Al Horford last year, bro. They had both of them.
So last year. Did they pick up? Didn't they pick up somebody going into this season?
Nah, I don't know. I think the only thing that happened is that they lost
just
Jimmy
doubled
Butler.
down.
They lost Jimmy.
Lost Jimmy Butler, and then I think they gave somebody like a contract extension.
Yeah.
Or they traded for Tobias Harris, and then he signed like the 5-year, and they just locked him in. I think.
Yeah, they locked him in because he became a mid-year acquisition from the Clippers. Remember, mid-season when the Clippers started offloading to prepare for Kawhi and Paul George.
Right. So that's what they did, and then I think that's what it was. When I saw them hit that, gave him a lot of that money, I was like, all right, I don't really know how that's gonna roll in the sense that like you're like very forward heavy, but again, Ben Simmons is just, I don't know.
I
He's
don't know
just
what happened.
around,
Yeah. Like what
and
happened,
it's just
and
like,
it's specifically with him. I don't even mean to cut you off there, but it's
no,
specifically
you're
with
right.
Ben Simmons. It's like I remember
That's
having
your wild
conversations.
card.
Yeah, that's your wild card. And like I remember having conversations with Ben Simmons with everybody that used to stand Ben Simmons. Everybody's like, yo, Ben Simmons, he's the future. Oh, you're talking shit about Ben Simmons? How can you say Ben Simmons is trash? How could you say he's not that nice? Like the dude is a walking triple double. He's averaging 20, 10, and 10, and he
We
doesn't
said
have a
that
jump
about
shot.
Michael Carter Williams, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
People said the same thing,
Thank
and he
you.
had didn't he have a better rookie season?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Didn't he?
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So it just comes out to this point of like, yo, let's be serious. Like, how long can you
yeah.
actually exist in this modern NBA without a jump shot? It just doesn't happen. LeBron was forced to learn how to become an exceptional shooter because now he's a shooter. Like he's dead as a gunner.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, he
So
just be gunning from three.
like,
Sometimes I'm like, all right, chill,
yeah,
G's.
nah, I fuck with it, man. Bron is a scorer from outside now, and I really do
Yeah.
respect it. And you know, you look at Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is just reluctant to shoot the three. He's just never going to shoot the three, in my honest opinion. And it's weird because you do have it's pretty much like Blake Griffin without a jump shot, except he handles the ball better and he's faster.
I think somebody called him Kangaroo Rondo one time. That should have me dying.
That's mad funny,
because it's kind of true. It's like, like, all right, we get it. You're a great floor general. You can see the floor. You're 6'10". You can move by a lot of people, but it's the NBA. Everybody's just as good as you. So half the shit that you're doing, it's not gonna go against the better players. Like, you gotta develop something.
And I always tell people, like, I think last year I was having a lot of those arguments with people was, okay, so what conversationally, or not even last year, it was the year before that. I used to tell people all the time, what's the difference between him and Giannis? What is the difference between Ben Simmons and Giannis Antetokounmpo? They're realistically the similar players. They're both point forwards, or they're the power forwards or centers that can play the one, play the two, play the three, play the four, play the five. They can play all five positions.
Yeah.
They have supreme court vision, and they both are unstoppable attacking the rim. Now, Giannis, like, literally just like decides to shoot. He's still not a consistent shooter. He's not a sniper by any means.
But at least I think he developed a decent mid range, but also he developed like a sizable like post jumper.
Yeah. He can knock down a three. If you leave him wide open, he can hit that three, and he will willingly take the three.
Yeah.
So,
like, but I think when he bulked up, that strength really helped him.
Yeah. Like, but to me,
because he seems to like barrel through. But I know what you mean. Like, they're in the same vein of player.
Yeah,
it's just clearly like Ben Simmons. Just like it's almost like you could look at Giannis and Ben Simmons. It's like, Ben, you could be there.
You're just choosing not to, almost like.
You're
yeah, and I mean, maybe I'm disrespecting what Giannis is doing, and I guess that's another conversation. Giannis realistically might right now be doing something that we might not ever see again. It might be.
I mean, he's doing like he's doing like astronomical, like historic type numbers in the sense that 20 something, 30 something, 11 and 6, crazy.
He's like doing what we praise Kawhi for doing, except he's doing it like 10 times better. Like, as far as year over year, this guy is getting better. Like, we didn't know about him coming in. And then, like, this dude was the future a couple of years later. I'll never forget when he first got drafted and everybody was saying, oh, yeah, he's similar to KD because of his frame. And, like, nobody, like, they were saying his
weird
potential.
Comparison.
Yeah, his potential could be the limit. He could be like KD. And I was like, yeah, I guess because of his frame. But, I mean, oh, my God, has his trajectory been phenomenal. And I
remember seeing flashes of it, like, in, like, 2014. And he would play. And I'm like, he would have games out of nowhere, and it would be this type of shit that he's doing now on the regular. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I knew, I was like, all right, there's something there.
The triple-double.
But he has to, and I was like, I got to see. But, like, it's there. And then I think the move was when Jason Kidd put him at point guard, because I think
that changed everything.
That changed everything. They did it for like a few games, and all of a sudden it was like, all right, that was the last step. That was the secret. Just give him the ball. Then I guess they worked on everything else. But you're right. I think it's not like, Giannis is like far, he's top class. I think it's just when you look at Ben Simmons, it's like, again, like that's that new breed of player where you can have more of these forwards be, like the point forward, Bron, the Pippen, the Grant Hill type style of player. But we're seeing that more and more. But again, like, you have to develop that jumper. Like, I think Giannis is just so freakishly athletic that right now that trumps so much. Like, that trumps having a consistent jumper because he just takes 2 strides and he's right there at the basket.
Time, yeah.
But like Ben Simmons, it's not that he could do that, but it's like, it's just not to that extent. So like he does not have that freakish athleticism to save him from that. Same thing with like Russ. I love Russ to death, triple double machine. He scores not the greatest shooter, but that freakish athleticism
allows him to
saves him
overcome
more often.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit's
So, but
crazy.
like if you don't have that, you gotta build a skill set. And it just, like I think I saw like a recent article. He's trying to bring in like psychologists to help him with his jumper. And the last time I seen that was with Markelle Fultz when they fucked up I think it was his elbow, or they did some crazy bot surgery or something.
Yeah.
And then they had to bring in psychologists, try to fix it, like the hitch in his jumper. And I'm like, at that point, if it's getting to like a psychological standpoint, I think,
You'll
I
never
think
become a good shooter. Yeah, you just kind of
like if you're that much in your own head, if it is for Ben Simmons like a mental thing, then to me I'm just like, come on,
it's quiet. Yeah, it's done for him. He probably just will. He'll just
I
have
don't
to
know. You just
evolve his
gotta
game physically at the rim on a Giannis level to become that next level player
and become like an all-world defender.
Yeah, but
that's the only way I see. Like if you're gonna try to still get paid or be seen as like a premier like player in this league, at this point you gotta just become all-world defense and just be the best at just stick to what you're doing now. Just become the best at it. Then.
Yeah, no,
that's it.
No, honestly, pretty much. And I think the ultimate and toughest question, unfortunately, for that team is going to be, okay, can he do it by himself, or is it like, I'm sorry, not by himself. I don't want to word it that way. Is it possible for him to get it done alongside Joel Embiid, or is it a problem where he needs to do that by himself? Like he needs a team built with 5 shooters around him. 4 shooters around him. He needs a team where, there isn't that big clogging up the paint, because Joel Embiid, although he is a stretch 5 and can spread you could put him at the 3-point. You don't want him at the 3-pointer because he's a dominant 7-footer. You should want him inside scoring 30 to 40 points a game off the
easy
glass
buckets.
at the rim.
Feed him and just, he drops that shit in right then.
So it's tough. Like, you got the weirdest twin tower set up with that team. And, I don't want to hang on them too long, but you got the weirdest twin tower because it's kind of like having like a Tim Duncan and a, fucking a general, a Robinson.
Yeah.
But those two guys, at least, you got one now is running the 1 and one is at the 5. So the one that's at the 1 though can't shoot. So he's literally just running at the paint. And I mean, it's weird,
you're occupying, you're occupying the same space
that he
and
needs
it
to be
sucks
at.
Because I think, I think their potential together, if they grow like not correct, but if they grow in like a cohesive way, is crazy. Like their ceiling would be unstoppable. Because how the hell are you supposed to stop a point guard in the center that's damn near the same height? Like that's just the pick and rolls that they run now. I'd be like, oh, who the hell you want me to switch on to? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
But like it just is not working to the extent. Like all those two should be able to like hold down the weight for a good stretch of the game, and everybody else is complimentary. Honestly. But it's just not that, and it's just kind of crazy.
It's kind of strange.
They put, like Sam Hinkie did all that shit, failing, get these draft picks, and it was good. And not to say that they're bad, but it's just like not to say that their window has like disappeared, but I just think it needs like another retooling. Because now you look at to change topics and also find another team, but you look at the Raptors, like they're still contending after losing an all-world player.
Team right there.
Like contending. Like I'm looking at like, man, we really might have to give Nick Nurse like he's up there in terms of coaching.
I think didn't they say he got robbed? I don't know if the awards came out today. I gotta probably verify that.
Yeah, it was Billy Donovan and I forgot who was the other one, but it was 2 people won like co-coach of the year.
Well, and it wasn't Nick Nurse.
I don't think it was Nick Nurse.
Wow, that is hilarious.
Because I don't know, because like you would look at some of the shit Dwayne Casey's running, you're like, I don't know what the fuck this is. But then just looking at the shit that he was, Nick Nurse. I mean, of course you had a Kawhi, but then you take him away and look. I mean, Pascal Siakam's, he blew up. But the stuff that they're running and he's making these role players look like stars. Like nobody give a shit about Fred VanVleet. All of a sudden, Nick Nurse got him doing that.
Yeah, he got him everything. They got him looking like he's an all-star. That he really got a place in this league. It's crazy. People and I think he went to a D2. He wasn't even at a D1, I think. Something like that. So
something like that.
Yeah, you really got a huge shout outs to whatever they're doing in Toronto. I mean, just like you said, to move on to I guess that team, like when you look at just the field, you obviously have the Titans of the conferences, the Bucks, you have the Clippers, you have the Lakers. I guess in the East, the second Titan would be Toronto, but I kind of consider them closer to the field, who is that next big threat you would say to that
Yeah.
title? At least when you consider, because everybody is obviously talking about, and it's been like that for the years. The Western Conference Finals is the true finals. Whoever wins that
Mhm.
series is typically the biggest threat to win the title.
Yeah.
Kawhi has kind of thrown a wrench, obviously, in that over the last couple of years, and then LeBron being in the East has kind of just
Yeah.
held the equilibrium for so many years. But realistically, whoever's in the West has been really deciding who's winning the title. So, you know, who do you have? Like, I mean, as like that next big
Mhm.
threat? Because I do really think somebody might like throw a wrench. Like, I don't know who's gonna win the title. Like, my money is probably on the Clippers. I guess if I'm gonna go first,
Yeah.
but
I would say Clippers.
uh-huh.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
go first. Go
If I'm
first.
if I'm gonna go first, my idea is that Clippers are easily my favorites to win the title. Obviously, right after them, I got the Lakers. That's why I like the Western Conference Finals. That's the finals. Right
Yeah.
after them, then coming out the East, I don't know, man. Like from what I'm seeing between Boston and Toronto, one of those two teams might like threaten the Eastern Conference Finals, man, because the blueprint is there to stop Giannis, man. They just have it. They have the blueprint to stop Giannis. Like
Yeah.
not being a jump shooter, somebody that can score from outside 15 feet. You need to be at the rim. In the playoffs, when the refs are holding their whistle a little bit more, they're not going to give you the calls. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're really going
Yeah.
to struggle, man. You got to find another way to beat these teams. So if they're taking the one way you can score, and I mean,
Yeah.
that's my issue also with the Houston Rockets. Like sometimes when I see like, all right, James Harden, his three is not falling, and I know he's a slasher and gets to the rim, and if he's not getting a free throw, like calls, like
It's
so I mean, like
it's
yeah,
like he gets cold.
bro, he literally is
It's like the free
useless.
throws get
Yeah,
him hot. Yeah.
yeah, the free throws will keep him hot, and if he's not getting those free throws and his shots not falling, he literally Westbrook. He becomes a worse version of Westbrook to me. So it's just kind of like, it's crazy. Like who is truly the next big threat? And I think I really do have between the Raptors and the Celtics. Um, by the end of the regular season, I'm gonna see how I truly feel between those two teams. But I do like the Raptors, man, to come out the East. I think right now I'm sticking with them
Yeah.
because they have the best defense right now.
They're ridiculous on
Yeah,
defense. It makes no sense. And just again, you just lost a player, and you maintaining this level of defense or just
dominance. Oh
maintaining
man.
that level is just lets me know. And I honestly think like that is a testament to obviously the coaching, everything, Masai Ujiri, like they're holding it down. Like that's a top class organization, top to bottom. But I think like looking at it as like a prospective free agent, that's an easy setup. Yo, just go there. It's already there.
Yeah, as an all-star, like
Like
what do you need? Team-wise, it's literally
boom.
already set for
You
you to
can
just go over there and dominate. You just go there, pick up the mantle. I could score 20 to 30 points a game whenever I choose to. Whatever type of player I am. Realistically, I mean defensively, they don't even need you to be a dominant defensive presence. All you
you
gotta
just
need it,
need to just do your rotations.
do your rotation, score, and put your hands up in rotations. That's it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's it.
yeah, that's fire.
Shit. Yeah, I would say Clippers for me number one, purely because they just have the highest ceiling. Like the
Yeah.
best version of the Clippers is like the best team in the
Team in the
league.
league, period. Yeah.
Yeah, like by far, because you're just putting like, to me, baby Jordan and then, Paul George together. Like,
Yeah.
and like I think, just like, because I think Paul George, really just grew as like a shooter in OKC because he came in and by the time he was done, he was shooting like almost like a 40% or at a 40% clip. So if you get Paul George at that consistent level of shooting again, on top of Kawhi being a consistent shooter, and both of them are really amazing two-way players, and you just supplement that, like that to me would just, solidify like a duo that, all right, you guys are doing the same thing, but it's not detrimental because you both can do everything, Like, I mean, I think Kawhi's like playmaking ability could be better, but in the sense that like, all right, you both can score when you need to, and you both can play all world defense. That's what's going to save your ass in, the heatest, the hottest moments in the finals,
Yeah.
playing defense and creating your own shot. Of course, I would say Lakers second. Just really depends on, Braun. Like that, that it just, Braun
Yeah.
and then just AD showing up.
Yeah.
And JR just not doing dumb shit again. So I mean,
JR
we'll
not
see about
tossing the
that.
game again.
Yeah. After that, like I don't know, the Bucks are just so weird in the sense that like they're still there. Like Budenholzer is a fantastic coach. Giannis is, I'm never gonna doubt Giannis, but it's just, like just seeing him just go up against certain like teams and certain competition, like sometimes he withers away. And like I think that might be like normal for like somebody of his caliber, but it's also like he got really hot really fast. So now we're expecting him like, all right, dude, like come go get a championship already. And like that expectation, he's hungry for that now. But also I think like, he hasn't found that next step yet to like take him to that, to, that truly unstoppable quote unquote class where, at the very least, like he can, he won't get less than, I don't know. If he gets less than 18 points, he's doing something else to help out.
Mhm.
I don't think he's just at that. Like he's just right there, but he just doesn't have like that extra set of consistency to help him out there.
Mm.
So I feel like it would just at that point, like his raw skill is going to overpower a lot. But when you go up against a West team, that's when it might not work out.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
But
I
yeah,
feel
I
you.
like. I don't know. I like the Raptors too, and then also I like the Heat a lot. Honestly,
Yeah, the Heat. The
like
Heat
I
is
really
a nice
think
team. I think they could definitely shock somebody. I think they have to be
they
on though. They have to be hot, and I
yeah,
don't know how they're feeling right
if
now
they can,
because I think they're
yeah
0-2 right now, right? I don't know if they lost their 2 games so
yeah
far.
yeah because who do they lose
Let me
to?
see here. So the Heat lost to the Raptors, and then the Heat lost to.
No, he beat the Nuggets
Oh,
yesterday,
they did
and
beat the Nuggets.
then
I'm tweaking.
they lost to the Raptors today.
Okay.
So 1-2 or 1-1.
Yeah, they 1-1. Okay. So one
Okay,
and one.
not too bad.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just think like I don't know, like it's just I don't know, something about the Celtics just bothers me in a way. Like they're there, but I don't know, like just
You don't know if you
I
trust them.
personally
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
yeah, like I see like the growth in both of their stars, but then I also just see them like disappear at times, and I'm like, I don't really know like how consistent a lot
Nah,
of
I
you
don't
got.
know,
Like
man. I don't know. I
they
don't
got
know.
solid. I think they just like they won't ever be that bad because all of their players are good. It's just like who's really standing out. Like
Yeah.
Jason Tatum's going to
I
be
think
your
Jason
standout
Tatum.
guy.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
between
Oh no,
Jason
no, no. He's
Tatum, because you know what? I think the thing with the Celtics is like they really got that multi-headed snake. I mean, just like you said, you can have somebody be the standout guy. Or if you think
yeah,
about it, I mean, like, yo, you got Jason Tatum going for 30, and then what if Kemba Walker's having an on night and he got 20 points, and then you got Gordon
yeah,
Hayward, he's on and he's dropping 15 to 20. Jalen Brown is going to put in his 15 to 20. Like, it's a hard assault to start.
yeah,
They can pour in points from a lot of different directions. It's not even that, oh my God, like, yo, we absolutely have to stop the superstar. It's like, yo,
yeah,
like one on one, if they're killing their lineup, and you need a double, or yeah, good example. Jason Tatum is getting off. You need to send him a double. You leaving another All Star open like that. I think it's just the
yeah,
notion of that. It's very very difficult to deal with that as a
yeah.
team. Unless you're the Raptors. Really, the Raptors are the only team that's physically built to defensively match up with that team. I feel like Philly can match up with them, but I feel like the Celtics just are better than Philly. They have their number. Period.
I think so. I
Yeah.
was gonna say that like a lot of outside of like a few East teams, a lot of them have like one glaring weakness,
Hmm.
like that, and just like Boston just seems to, they have steady coaching, and like since everybody's at like a certain level of like, all right, they know how to play basketball, they have really good role players. Like there's a certain baseline that they're just
Hmm.
gonna be better than other teams because they could weather that storm of, all right, Jason Tatum's not good today. We
Hmm.
can weather that because everybody else can fill in
Can
those
fill in
gaps.
those
So I
gaps.
think that will take them far. But come playoff time, it's more about who, more often than not, it's who's the better player.
Yeah, no, and that's true, and I think that's the only thing that
Yeah.
the Celtics to me, I guess, and to say it all in all is really just they're like they're pretty much like Toronto, except they have like younger talent, like more talented players that are younger and less like they're less developed. So when you look at
Yeah.
Jason Tatum, you look at a Jalen Brown, like to me, they're better than everybody on the Raptors. There's not one player on the Raptors,
Yeah.
maybe outside of Pascal Siakam, that I could say, all right,
Yeah.
is hanging with them talent wise. Even Kemba Walker, realistically, I mean, maybe Kyle Lowry, but I think Kemba's better than Kyle Lowry, but like not
I
even a
mean, Kyle
question.
Lowry's like, I don't know, 33, 34
Yeah, he's
already.
past his
So
prime, man. He was a great guard. I
yeah.
mean, he's a great guard. I don't want to
Yeah.
disrespect any Kyle Lowry fans, anybody who might be listening, tuned in, but like Kemba's way better than him. So you got Kemba, I mean, even Gordon Hayward. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's better than most of the players on the Raptors. Like, let's be honest, a healthy Gordon Hayward, the one
Yeah.
we last remember, I would take him over many of the Raptors players. So
Yeah.
you gotta look at it from that standpoint. The Raptors, definitely better coach. Well, not better coach, but that's why they have their record. The heart of the champion. They are better
Yeah.
coach. You have to give them that credit. The Celtics
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little less developed. It's where they at, but I think they can be a threat. They're catching fire at the right time, and that's all you need, and that's
That's
really all you need.
really,
Yeah,
yeah. If you're on that hot streak and that hot streak is at the right time, that shit will push you farther than you think.
yeah. But I mean, I guess moving on from those guys, I think I had like one more fucking NBA topic. Yeah, I mean, not much else really happened with the NBA. I mean, I know obviously, I don't know if you followed it, but Jimmy Butler, he was talking about he wanted to wear the jersey. I don't know if you saw that with no name
Yeah,
on the
and he
back.
with no name on it, and the NBA was like, "Nah,
Nah,
Chief, you gotta."
shit, I don't even know.
Yeah,
Like,
you can have a message. Just it's got to be,
it got to be our message
within these
approved.
guidelines.
Yeah, like I feel like,
Jesus.
I don't know, man. Did they drop the ball on that? Like the NBA, like should he have been allowed to do that, or is it like not that big of a deal? Are we being picky if we're like, man, like you guys are really controlling the way we are choosing to protest? You know?
I look at it like that, in the way that if you're really about a protest, then any player's request should be obliged. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, once like, all right, not to like undermine, players having Black Lives Matter on their jerseys, but like once like the corporation kind of gets involved and says, okay, you could do it. And once they said, like, all right, here's what you can wear, to me, that already like discredits a lot. Like
Mhm.
discredits the sense, like, all right, the NBA really like cares, but they care because all right, the majority of our demographics black, and 80% of our players are black. Like the entire workforce of the NBA is mostly black, so you have to kind of oblige. And like not to say that they aren't progressive, but that's to say they're progressive in contrast to the other leagues, which in the other leagues they ain't doing none of that shit.
Mhm.
This shit, you think they're gonna allow that
Yeah,
shit
they're
in the
not doing
NFL?
none of that
Absolutely
shit. Yeah,
not.
hell no.
They're not doing none of that shit. So like that's a step up above them, but it's not real like effective, messages. People are trying to do with what they can. So just seeing that, like, especially because it wasn't like he put someone else's name on there.
Mhm.
It's not like he put like George Floyd. Even if he put that, there wouldn't be anything wrong. The fact that he said, I'm gonna have no name on there. And
Yeah.
they were like, you can't do that. I'm like, what the fuck
Like,
is
what the
that?
fuck does that
What do you
even
mean?
mean? It's the dumbest
Like,
thing. Yeah.
that's like right, like it wasn't something that could be like, considered controversial or anything like that. Like no name. Like if you can have Black Lives Matter on the jersey,
I
no
should be able
name
to wear
really
no name. Yeah, like.
come on, absolutely nothing on it is like, oh no, you can't have that.
Mhm.
So I just find that to be like really, really weird that that was like the line that they drew. So I
Chose,
just,
yeah.
sometimes you just forget and you're like, oh yeah, never mind. It's a corporation. Like I can't trust them completely.
Yeah, exactly. It's and that's what it is. You learn with life. Like you can never truly 100% be with anything. It's like it's balance. Unfortunately, they're gonna fuck up
Yeah.
one thing. They're gonna do right on other things. You know, I don't know. Fuck yeah. I guess we move on from that bullshit. Like, yeah. But I mean, other than that, last week, I mean, it's been quiet. I know. Beyonce blessed us with a special, right? What is
Oh
it? The
yeah.
Black is King special. I didn't
Black
watch
is
it.
King, yeah.
Didn't get to
I didn't
watch
watch
it,
it. I didn't watch it yet.
but
I'll watch it.
yeah,
Just not right now.
not right now. Yeah, honestly, I was chilling over the weekend. I was like, yeah, I'll watch it another time. Um, it was a huge controversy though. There was a massive controversy. No Name tweeted some shit out about it. Pretty much like challenging, Beyonce. I guess regarding, I guess her intention. Or like I don't know if it's like glorification. I don't know what to really word it as, like, what Beyonce was really trying to do because I didn't watch it. I don't want to speak blindly on it, but she definitely or clearly, like was just kind of saying, that there's I don't want to let me get this actual tweet, the exact tweet up just so I can have
And like what's crazy
let's
is
see
that like
here.
I don't think she was the first to say, because I did see a lot of articles also highlighting that same thing. And I think it's just like a general critique, like if
Yeah, I
you
got it.
approach it from read
Oh yeah, I got
read
it. I'm
first.
sorry. Yeah, so it says here, it says we love an African aesthetic draped in capitalism. I hope we remember the black folks on the continent whose daily lives are impacted by US imperialism. If we can uplift the imagery, I hope we can uplift those who will never be able to access it. Black liberation is a global struggle. Facts. Yeah, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? This is
That's
like I mean
I
it's
don't see anything wrong with that.
nothing wrong with that, but obviously I don't know if it's the J. Cole fucking stands that still hate No Name from just
I
whatever.
honestly, ever since that, like she said shit, and I look at it like I don't see anything wrong with that. And she's like, "Well, I'm gonna take it down." I'm like, "Yo, people are just walling out on her like for
Yeah,
everything now.
but everything
Like they
she
just
said,
don't want her to say shit."
they don't want
But
her to
I mean,
speak.
I agree. I agree with it wholeheartedly because like I totally understand. Like like again, like one, it's like Beyonce's, the closest thing to Michael Jackson. And, we always joke, the beehive, shit like that. But, I don't stand not a single fucking person, not a single celebrity on planet Earth.
Mhm,
And I don't think even if you do stand somebody, you should be able to not be able to critique them. Like, I
mhm,
think that's the whole purpose. Like, nobody should be above critique.
mhm,
You can, and, I think there's always room for nuance and in critique in the way that you could say, I enjoy Black is King. I enjoy the uplifting message to the diaspora that she's sending, paying tribute to African roots of Blackness, X, Y, and Z, while also saying, hey, this is a billionaire woman who's doing this, and this is somewhat commodified in a way that it's being not necessarily sanitized, but all right, it's on Disney, it's a little more accessible, and they gave her free reign, but at the same time, it's draped in a certain way, like the message is packaged, and I know she her what I believe to be like the entire production is Black. All the cinematographers, everybody in that shit, was Black doing it, and that's again 100 salutes to that. That I love to see that as well. But you can also critique it and say like, hey, listen, like this is presented in a way that like it could be commodified, like I'm not African, so I don't, it doesn't affect me in that way.
mhm.
But I totally understand if somebody from Africa was like, hey, listen, like, all right, I know you came here and shit like that, but you're just kind of using this aesthetic, but it doesn't feel a genuine enough for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like I just look at it in those ways that if you're gonna do something like that, like you shouldn't be exempt from any sort of critique, especially if like, like Beyonce's Black, but I don't know what's her African roots because I think both of her parents were born here.
Mhm.
So, like if somebody from Africa was like, listen, like, you never specify where you're where you're from, or like if your parents are first generation X, Y, and Z, and had a problem with that, that should be, nobody should be like, well, shut the fuck up. This is about Black liberation, yada yada yada. There has to be room for all of these things, I think personally.
Yeah, no, I think you touched on honestly all the points that I've personally felt on it, and you spoke specifically, to something me as an African I can identify with, and I feel like other Africans can identify with as well. And I think for the most part that like most Africans felt positive, pretty positive about it because she did pull a lot of African help for this project. A lot of African Twitter, surprisingly on my end, I seen them, a lot of them getting retweeted on my TL. And I was like, wow, like these are people that, that I know that, personally know these people that she picked for this film. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Like that's great that she tapped in and, actually reached out to the actual authentic culture. No, they didn't have anybody whitewash it, anybody that's around it. It's like people who are actually in it, they live it, they dance it, they do it. They style it, they create the fashion, they do these things. So big salutes, 100 salutes to that. But it just always, even to me, still does come off though as just kind of like just like you said, it's a commodification of it. It just sounds like it feels like it's being sold to us. How genuine is this picture that's being sold to us? You know,
Yeah.
are we really trying to uplift the Black American, the average Black American that, with all due respect, like I asked a Black American, yo, you know where you're from? Have you ever done ancestry, DNA truth tracing, things like that? Are you proud of like African culture, things like that? I've never gotten that. I don't get that from the
Yeah.
average Black person. And that's just me speaking as an
Hmm.
African in New York City, Staten Island. Like, that's me speaking to my experience. When I'm speaking to people on the day to day and the Black people that I know, they've never been enamored with African culture, and maybe Beyonce is trying to drive them to, you see what it can be, and that is what it can be. That's what it, I think it's been. I don't want to say romanticized to be because I can't say also that in Africa for the times that I've been there that it looks exactly like that. But a lot of that stuff is truly a representation of what our culture can have, where it's been at its heights, at its most beautiful events. Obviously, the parties, the weddings, the ceremonies. When you see that like a Nigerian wedding on Twitter or one of those videos, it shit looks a lot of
Yeah.
like what she was
Yeah.
presenting.
That looks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I understand that, and I think if that's what you're trying to get everybody to say or buy into, black people to buy into, I'm all here for it. I just hope that people are actually following through, and it's not just this thing where we get another Black Panther Wakanda phenomenon. Like I felt like the whole year, like there on after, it was Wakanda this, Wakanda that, Wakanda theme, BET,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because Wakanda was based upon legitimate African tradition. So it's just like y'all was
Yeah.
romanticizing some fake shit that's based upon
A
real shit.
fictional country.
Yeah,
You were romanticizing a fictional country, and like I totally understand. Like, all right, black superhero, blah blah blah. Like representation, cool, cool, cool. But like people was showing up in like traditional garbs and shit like that. I'm like, I don't
yeah.
know. Like
Like to me,
that just seemed
it comes off offensive
much.
to Africans. I'll be honest. It really at a time it was just like, yo, come on. Like you could just actually look at where it actually came from, and or just tap into the true traditional
And
roots
praise
and
that,
praise
you
that
could
shit.
praise that.
Yeah, not some
And
fictional
like,
bullshit. Like it just comes off as like, yo, you see, like no name is 100% right. Like you guys just benefit from, all right, like we're gonna make this thing look cool. We're gonna make African culture look cool in a biopic or in an action movie, and then we're gonna sell this to America. We're gonna sell it. They're gonna generate billions off of it, and Africa's not gonna see any benefits from it. People aren't going to be
yeah.
coming back to the country and trying to donate the
People
wealth
just
back to
say
the country.
Wakanda shit now rather than Africa stuff. Remember when Ti was like, "Nah, this is Wakanda." Like, bruh, come
Yeah, nah, come on, son. This is
come
Wakanda.
on, come on.
What are you talking about? This is
Oh
Wakanda.
yeah, that shit was crazy. I
Yeah.
hate that. I absolutely
Yeah,
hate
nah,
that.
I'm not a fan of it. So, when I look at just like Black is King, I hope like that's just not going to be the end all say all with it. Obviously let it lead to actual positivity and actual, benefits in the homeland. Like the homeland should benefit from something like this. Like I want to see people traveling to Africa, wanting to invest in the economy, invest in the pockets of the locals, the people, who do this thing. Like, all right, if you like the garb, don't get the garb when you see that at Urban Outfitters or some ASOS bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Or
Oh god, yeah.
Fashion Nova. Hit up an actual authentic person, a legitimate African that from West Africa, from East Africa, South Africa, wherever they're from, and have them handcraft the garb for you. Pay them to directly use their service. I know people who make traditional garb. You can have those garments made if you truly want to do those things. Don't just like I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't
It's
romanticize
like
my culture. That shit is weird to me.
it's like extending that, people were saying, oh, buy black businesses. Extend that same courtesy to all black businesses.
Yeah.
Like not just American black businesses, African businesses, West Indie businesses,
Hmm.
like the diaspora entirely. Like, don't get like you said, the sanitized version. Like, don't go to like some upscale, you know, African restaurant unless it's owned by actual African people.
Yeah.
Instead, go to like the smaller shop. You go get the legitimate stuff,
You get this
like
stuff. Yeah.
just again get the legitimate stuff so it goes into the pockets of the people whose culture it is.
Hmm.
Like don't get the sanitizers or like you said, because I guarantee you, like if this takes up like I don't know, like a certain storm or like this kicks something up, like I guarantee you, like you said, like people gonna start making shirts with traditional
Oh, a
garb
hundred
patterns
percent.
and
I'm
shit,
telling you, the
and I'm
bullshit
gonna
we're
be
gonna
like,
see. I'm telling you, like stemming from this, and I know we're gonna probably end up revisiting this conversation just because of that. It's gonna be like a lot of people just romanticizing, like, and I mean, we were just talking about it in pre-prod. The whole notion of a Beyonce, we should consider her mama Africa. Are you like, what are you talking about? Like, and I know you can't. And I'm an adult. You can't take what is said on Twitter and then run to the real world because like you literally will do that and people looking at you like, oh nah, you bugging. Like I ain't never heard nothing like
yeah,
that. But like the fact that that stuff is even uttered and that all right, Twitter, you can't say it's the whole world, but that shit might be millennial real world. That's the youth. That's my generation and all
yeah,
forthcoming. A lot of them have interactions with social media. So when they see these things, Beyonce being this figurehead for Africa, yeah, they might see her as Mama Africa. Everything African, yo, let me go to Mama. The same, I said to Mama Africa to Beyonce. The same way some kids might fucking look at Patois and say, yo, look at Drake, or say, yo, look at dancehall, let me go to Drake.
yeah.
Like honestly,
Yeah,
like
I agree.
it's crazy. So like we really have to make sure we're like giving homage to the places of where this stuff is actually coming from and giving respects to it. Like son, and I mean this conversation can flip flop into many things, man. Because I even was looking at somebody had this thing up on Twitter the other day, and it was saying something about like languages in the world, like languages disappearing
Mhm.
across the country and the world, like People aren't
Yeah.
speaking multiple languages anymore. English has dominated the diaspora, like period. Like it's just English anymore.
Wow.
Like at home, people aren't speaking multiple languages. Even me myself, I'll be honest, I only understand Yoruba. I can't speak it. I can speak it
Mhm.
somewhat, certain words, things like that. But I'll be honest, I'm definitely forcing it. It's not natural to me. I could only
Yeah.
truly naturally understand it. And it is scary. Like, I don't know, the notion of just like even the world's history and tradition is kind of like disappearing. And
Yeah.
like it's becoming fictionalized. Like I don't know, when I even look at this now, I'm like, yo, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like African culture isn't like African languages, it's not African food and things like that. It's dashikis and Beyonce on television and Black Panther. That's what it is now. Like it's crazy. Like
Yeah. I agree because like I feel like that's the problem with like not necessarily I don't know, it's like it's good and bad when like a central figure becomes the point of exposure
mhm.
because that's always, like you mentioned the drink, that's always been my problem with Drake. Not necessarily, like when he does the stupid ass like, accents and shit because it's not so
Shit,
much
look at
like
you, him
him
in
doing
UK
it.
drill right now. He
Yeah, like
represents that for the most part.
right, and it's like it's not necessarily like they're just you're doing the accent. It's just that when you do it, like you become synonymous with it. It's like, all right, you're big, you're exposing, but like it more often than not, like people are gonna start and end with you.
Mhm.
Not too many people are gonna go farther than that. Like how many people are from Black is King are gonna go search up and be like, oh, I don't know African culture. I'm going to look into African culture. Like I would love to see like sales shit. People buying like legitimate stuff. But like often with the Drake shit, it's like, all right, he'll collab with somebody. That one person through osmosis of Drake will get the bump up, but I rarely see it, spread further into that.
Mhm.
Somebody saying, oh, Drake, I started listening to UK drill. Now I just listen to a bunch of UK drill. Like I left the Drake shit behind. Or, Drake jumped on, Memphis shit. Now I listen to a bunch of Memphis shit, or
Yeah.
whatever wave it jumps on. Like I rarely see it go past that first initial point. So I hope it doesn't become that with, like you said, the Beyonce thing where people just again stop and end at all right, Beyonce. Oh, Beyonce in African garb or Beyonce in this. Or like you said, like I wanted to push to actually get into the culture, like I don't want it to just, yeah, like just fall by the wayside because there's that risk that you run when you have it centered on one person, like that it becomes more commodified or becomes sanitized by that person because they're doing an homage, but it's not the actual version of that. Like I didn't get to listen to any of the songs. I didn't get to see it yet. So once I see it, like my opinions might change a little bit because I'm sure she'll have homages to it. But I did hear like one of the songs. It's still Beyonce music, so that's one thing. Like it'd be different if you had that and then you just put on like a bunch of African artists
Mhm.
to like really further emphasize that. Like it's still very much a Beyonce centered project, from my understanding,
Yeah.
because she has her people in it.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
think yeah, that just goes back to your point, really.
Yeah. I mean, I guess end up the topic is just, Black unity, man. I love the fact that Black
Yeah.
Americans though are reaching out. Me personally, I know Seo, although I am mixed on the topic, like, I do love the fact that Black people, though, as a whole, it seems that we are coming together. We want to bridge that gap. They want to unify. People want like I'm not gonna lie, the romanticization of like African culture in music and the media and things like that. It's a mixed bag. We're gonna love a lot of it because musically, I love it, man. When I'm hearing like African music on the radio, African music in the clubs, the parties, it's setting the
Mhm.
vibes. Everybody's loving it. Like this is what it's supposed to be to me. Like it
Yeah.
was always supposed to be like. So you got to take the good with the bad. And I mean, I just love it. I love that. You know, everybody's trying, and
Yeah.
we're coming
It's the
together every
ebb
day.
and flow of it all, like
Yeah,
you can have all that and still appreciate everything, like just because I said all that doesn't mean I'm shitting on anything. That
yeah,
could just be my critique. Well, I can still enjoy the shit, like it doesn't have to be hot or cold. I
yeah.
could just be in the fucking middle.
Nah,
I hate
facts.
that shit. Everyone's just like, oh, you must hate. I'm like, I don't hate shit.
Nah, yeah,
That's
you
just
don't
all
gotta
right.
hate on
That's
it.
my critique. And I
Yeah,
can still be like, holy shit, that was a fantastic project, X, Y, and Z.
yeah.
I don't know.
Nah, word.
Jesus.
But yeah, pretty much. Let's see what is next. We have here. Uh, Nothing major, man. It's been such a fucking slow week. I mean, what we got here? I mean, I don't know. I know we haven't even spoken on this one yet, but man, Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Did we speak about that on the
Yeah,
pod yet?
I think it's bad that I don't
I don't know if we spoke
remember,
about that on the
honestly.
pod. I don't know, man, but that's gonna be a crazy fight, man. That
That's
is
crazy. I
definitely
can't believe they're fucking fighting. First of all,
yeah, no, that's gonna be like really one of those game changers. Like when you really think about it, like people are really like have prayed for this fight forever. Like they was trying to get this fight. I don't even know how long ago. And the fact that it's really here, like it's crazy. I hope like that nobody gets hurt. I guess is like what I want to just preface it by
yeah,
saying it. And I hope we
that's
didn't
what I was
talk
gonna.
about this. So now I'm thinking, did we talk about this on the podcast last week?
I know we talked about Mike Tyson. I don't remember if we talked about this specifically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nah.
that's fine. Like they are, a little bit,
Yeah,
up there.
they're a little bit up there in age, and I mean, obviously, brain damage. I don't know how recoverable it is in elder age. It's not really something
Yeah.
you recover from at all, really. But it's not as tolerable in old age. So
I mean, it's kind of weird for me to be asking. I hope you guys are safe while you're punching the shit out of each other,
yeah,
but they signed up for it, so I'm sure they're like, all right, if anybody knows the risks, it's them.
yeah,
Professional boxers at the highest caliber. I'm sure they weighed it out and was like, okay, probably spoke to people and was like, all right, yeah, spoke to physicians or doctors. Was like, okay, I could do this.
yeah.
I just hope also, when it comes down to it, it's entertaining. It's not like, all right, it happened, but they was just staring at each other for
Staring at each
4
other,
rounds.
4 rounds. Yeah.
And then the 5th round, somebody got knocked out or some shit.
Yeah, I think with heavyweights, typically they're a lot more physical. Like I usually expect
Yeah.
somebody to be hurt or knocked or punched.
Yeah. I like a brawl, like a for real
yeah,
brawl.
yeah. It's not like the lighter fights because I feel like a lot of people, we've become at least I don't want to say blinded or at least like drunken with just the Floyd Mayweather fights over the years. He's a defensive, low contact. If he's hitting you, it's with counter punching. So it's really
Yeah.
his opponent missing, trying to hit him and him hitting them like a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not really crazy fights. At least in his youth, he was getting a lot of knockouts doing that. In older age, it was just a lot of like tacticianer type fighting.
Yeah.
With the heavyweights now, when you look at the Tyson Furies of the world, the fucking Anthony Joshua's, Deontay Wilder's, fucking Andy Reid's, all those guys that are fighting heavyweights, they're a lot more physical. You're gonna see people getting knocked to the ground, KOs. Like the blows are gonna land because they're bigger. So like when you look at legends, I mean Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. Mike Tyson only knows one gear, and that's to knock you out. Like I don't know how
Yeah,
they're
that's
gonna
to
do an
knock you the fuck
exhibition.
out.
You know what I'm saying? They're
Yeah.
calling this an exhibition with headgear. I was hearing that what is it? I think it's like I don't know what the ouncing on gloves. I think they're saying they're doing like 6-ounce gloves or something mad light or something crazy. Like I was like, yo, what? With headgear, and they're saying like, yo, like typically like you would go without headgear to spar like with a heavier glove. So Roy Jones, he said like I'm mad confused. They want to go with headgear with a lighter glove though, but the lighter glove is like
Yeah.
you fighting like you really trying to fight. Like this is
Yeah, you can throw that punch extra fast now.
Yeah.
You quicker. It's gonna be that's counterproductive.
That's what I'm saying. So he's saying like, in his defense, he's saying it's an exhibition, but he's saying, bro, he understands. That's Mike Tyson right there. He said, I'm understanding that at any minute, if this man makes a decision, he understands it can go left. He try and knock me out. So he said, I'm fighting him with the intention to knock out Mike Tyson straight up. Like I said, yeah, I respect it.
Listen,
Yeah.
I respect that, honestly.
Yeah, I was like, I like this, man. I think this is gonna be definitely a huge fight. And
Yeah.
shout out them for getting something like that popping off. And like using their likeness. I feel like in old age, I feel like these newer athletes, like the newer generation of athletes, they're trying to write back the script of, we can't be, great at what we do. Whatever your calling is in life, like you can't do it anymore in old age. But these guys are doing a good job of just like trying to like change that narrative. And hopefully it's entertaining, just like you said.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, we got here The Rock, man. My boy, man.
Oh yeah.
My boy The Rock.
First black man
owner fucking be a league owner, yo. Like shout out my boy.
I know it's the XFL, but that shit is like you said, that shit is still fucking dope. I mean, just to know that he has enough capital that they even let him do that.
That they even let him do that.
What Vince McMahon owns the XFL, right?
Yeah,
he's like the majority owner.
Yeah, he let that go. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Rock, he did buy it with a Vince McMahon, he's a couple billion. I think he has like what is he? At least 1, 2, 3 billion. Like he's worth a couple $1 billion.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got The Rock. He bought it with I think he bought it with like one of those sponsor groups. So it's like him and a management group. They bought the XFL. But I mean, I think it is huge because he's a majority owner, and you consider the fact that he's black, the coronavirus pandemic, obviously, The way the NFL is handling it. I know we've been speaking and praising, heaping praise on the NBA, but I didn't even get to bring that up. Look at the MLB, what's going on their side, and then the NFL is getting ready to try and come back. I mean,
Yeah.
you see what's going on with the MLB right now. I mean, left and right, they are canceling games, having to suspend the game. I literally, it's next week or the week after, we're going to be coming here talking about, damn, the MLB canceled their season. What happened? Like, the NFL is going to go through, hopefully they don't go through it, but if they do go through the same thing, do you think something like this could be a game changer? Like, can and a black star, maybe from college, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, or
Yeah, become like an alternative.
yeah, because the XFL, like, look at it like this: the XFL has already been known as a league for alternative league. Like, I know you have the CFL, which is the Canadian league.
Yeah.
They go to Canada to play. Some like former stars or players that didn't make the NFL, they'll go to the Canadian league and try to remake a career for themselves. The
I think
XFL
so.
has become that. So if you look
I
at the
think the
XFL,
XFL,
yeah,
like the last time we saw it when it just was on, like I thought it was a good alternative, like that the product itself was pretty interesting. That it was like, it spiced it up enough where you're like, okay, like this was pretty fucking enjoyable to watch in a way that's like, all right, I'm not necessarily familiar with the players, but the overall product was pretty good. So I feel like it could be an alternative to guys that, let's say, enter the league and then fall out and are still good enough to compete. And like, if they get the televised games, like that's a good alternative, I think. Like
yeah,
I wouldn't mind having like another football league.
no, agreed.
Like, NFL, you can't get better than that. There's always going to be great things. But, sometimes it's just like the NFL just has so much shit surrounding it. It's just hard to watch knowing, like, the fucking commissioner's garbage. Like, these owners don't give a shit about the players. Like, they really out there, getting CTE for nothing, basically. Because, like, if some shit happens, they get an injury, they just not getting paid no more. So
Yeah,
sometimes I just look at the other alternative and just hope, like, all right, that could be, something really good as well. So.
yeah. No, yeah. I
But
mean,
it says they bought it for only like 15 million. That's
yeah, it
pretty
was for the
crazy to
low
me.
too. Because I
Yeah.
gotta understand. I have to assume it's because of what's going on with the pandemic. I mean,
Yeah.
it's probably lowered the value of the league. I can't imagine it was too much, but you know, the fact that, like, I mean, now it's just a power play. Like, that is a power play. Like, and I just hope it leads to good things. I
Yeah.
think The Rock has a little bit of gold on his hand, and I mean, shit, I know if I have a kid one day, man, shit, play. Hopefully, you could play in the. I mean, I don't know. I don't really believe in football. That's another conversation because of the physicality. I like
No,
playing
I'm
football, but I understand that it's so damaging physically to your body. You shouldn't play it. But any black stars coming up, black athletes, give it a shot, man. Like, yeah, and this is like another conversation on just returning, to just, okay, let's do black. Let's do black. And I respect Beyonce for doing that.
yeah.
Employ a black cast or a cast of color. Of any color, of all different types of races, different types of ethnicities. You want to make sure that we're all employed and all represented. And I really feel like, when you do things like this and The Rock is able to maybe pluck one or two stars or even a former star, maybe they retired and, they feel like playing again, they can't get into the NFL. Coming to the XFL, they start putting up numbers looking like they're in NFL shape. Like, look at the big three. The big three did it. It got Joe Johnson a
I like the
contract.
big three.
Yeah, and it's become a great B league. Like, to
Yeah.
it's better than the G League. People will watch a big three game
That's for
way
damn
before they watch
certain.
a G League game. So I
I
mean,
yeah.
it is what it is. Like, I think, this is gonna become the norm. Like, we're gonna get a lot of this. Like, I mean, Patrick Mahomes already bought a team. The dude is like 20 years old, 21 years old. He bought a team.
I mean,
He
shit,
got
that
500
Chiefs
mil. I
contract.
respect it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the money. But I mean, like, we should see that though. I want to see more people of
Yeah.
color, black people, Latino people, Asian people, get into team ownership, get into league ownership, get into business ownership, and employ the people that look like you. Let's get it.
Yeah. Let's get that money.
Facts.
And shit. Is
Uh,
that it?
nah,
That's a good way to end it
that
on
is it.
that.
That's a
If,
good
if
way
you
to
guys,
end it. Yeah, that is a good way to end it. Honestly, I don't got
unless you
nothing
got
else.
something else.
I don't got.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
got
All
nothing
right.
juicy. I mean, shit.
All right.
Television is trash right now. I mean, Moesha on Netflix. That's the only other thing I got right here.
Word. Yeah,
Shout
they
out
put all that shit.
Moesha.
I gotta watch that. I gotta watch Girlfriends.
Yeah.
All yo, one-on-one.
One, all
Shit.
these joints, man. You know, shout out Black Television. They all on there.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shout out Black Television. Yeah, UPN 9 shit.
Yeah.
Go heavy from back in the day. But shit,
man.
all right then. Thank y'all for tuning in into the first virtual video version of the Touch the City podcast. You already know what is going on. Once again, I'm Fax Mercury. That is Twim 4K. Shit, if you really like this format too, we could do this more often. We could keep it going like this all the time. You know, you let us know. I got a little webcam. Y'all might even do a little streaming shit too. Oh shit, it's lightning out right now too.
Yeah, it was like pouring a second ago. Actually, I was hearing it. I was like, man, and shout out RTX Voice, man. This is NVIDIA. Y'all need to give me a sponsorship, man. But shout out RTX Voice. It's doing a good job. I have AC on Blair, lightning storm outside, rain all over the window. Y'all don't hear shit. It's beautiful.
I don't hear shit. So, but yes. So yes, in the middle of that, when y'all hear this, I think we'll be in the middle of a tropical storm or some shit like that. So I hope y'all safe for that, and we will see y'all in the next one.